We are back and we are doing one of my all-time favorites. And you can do this on a weeknight because it's going to come together really fast. My guess is going to be 7 minutes. We're going to see. I've got peppers, mushrooms, onion, avocado, cheese, and steak. And yes, we are making chopped cheesesteaks. Now, what I've got is a skillet with some butter that's melting, and that skillet's going to be really hot. I've got the buns in the toaster. When you're doing these cheesesteaks, there are basically two ways to do a cheesesteak. One, you cook your steak and your onions, whatever you want to put in it topping-wise, and then you put the cheese over the top. And then there's chopped cheesesteaks where you chop the cheese in, and then you add a little more over the top. This is by far my favorite way to do this. Now, when you're slicing these vegetables, see how I just rotated that onion over there? Don't chop these like rough chop into your little squares or whatever. You want these still in longer pieces because those little chop pieces fall right off your bun. The mushrooms, same way. Slice this really super thin. And I did the same thing with the pepper. You can hear my oil, or my butter over here is going. So I coat this skillet in that butter, and I'm going to throw these in there. Peppers, onions, mushrooms. These are not going to take very long because we cut them really thin, which is what we want. So we have our steak here. The great thing about cheesesteaks is you don't need an expensive cut of meat because you're going to chop it all up. These are just some sirloin tips. I think there's like 10 bucks for this. So let's come in here and let's slice it really thin. Don't spend a ton of time on this portion of it. And I'm going to tell you why in just a minute. But let's get this sliced nice and thin. I'm doing these about 1/8 of an inch, maybe quarters, something like that. And that's why you can use a cheaper cut of meat, because you're going to end up this being so fine that it's not going to matter. There's a little gristle on this. I really probably need to get that off along this outside. There's probably some mixed in there for some nice texture. Okay, so we've got it sliced. There's a piece right there. Now I'm just going to come in here and I'm just going to start trying to roughly chop this up. I'm not being at all particular in how I'm doing this. I'm just trying to get it into some smaller pieces. Now this is easiest done with something like this cleaver, where you have a bigger blade that you can really press down on. So I'm just going to chop this up. There's a little bit more of it there. Anytime you see that kind of the tough pieces, if you take those out, it's going to give you a better sandwich at the end. Come back in here and just chop this a little bit more. We want it all sort of chopped up together. The beautiful honey baby on the camera. Keeping me in line.
That's a full-time job.
But it is delicious. All right, so I got my meat. Let me turn this veggies real quick. I haven't added any salt or anything to these. I will in just a few minutes, but I haven't yet because I want everything in there together. So those veggies are just about done now. Let me turn the toaster on. Let me get my, this is a Kinder seasoning. It's called the blend. Basically just garlic, salt, pepper, that kind of stuff. All right, so I got my meat. Now the whole key to this is have plenty of cheese. So I'm going to move my meat over to the side. Then I'm going to roughly do the same thing with this cheese. This is where we're getting the chopped cheese. This is smoked provolone. You can use Swiss, you can use provolone, you can use whatever you want. So
in with the raw meat, huh?
Yep. So we're chopping this cheese into the meat. You just keep incorporating it. You want this all to mix in. Now, the thing about it is you've got to have that skillet nice and hot. and your veggies basically done. Because when you put this in, this is gonna go really super fast, and you don't want that cheese just sitting there burning the whole time. So I really need a little bit bigger cutting board, but that's what I got. So just keep chopping. Incorporating this all together. Cut right into my cutting board, that thing's so sharp. Keep turning it over. Seems like a bit of a process, but it really goes super fast. Now the reason why I like this over putting it on the top is this cheese is gonna cook into here and get kind of brown and crispy as it goes. So I'm just keeping on incorporating this. My veggies are gonna be done as soon as I get this done. It's gonna be ready to go in. So just keep chopping. Really, it doesn't matter at this stage how it ends up. You just want it mixed together. And chopped in. That's kind of how you're getting this in smaller pieces. This cheese is going to melt. I mean, I could leave it in big hunks, it wouldn't matter. It would eventually melt. So, alright, honey. So if you want to bring that over here, I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. I got this meat and cheese. You can see our vegetables have sweated down as much as I want them to. I'm going to add in all this meat and cheese. Get rid of that cutting board. Now I need to come in here and mix this, because again, this is going to happen super fast. Oh, my bread's getting more than toasted. All that is some buns. And honey baby's actually going to have hers on a baked potato. So she's going to have a chopped cheesesteak baked potato. Now you'll see, can you see these strings in here? This cheese is starting to melt. You see those strings across there. That is incorporating all that into our cheesesteak. Now I get my seasoning, which is this Kinder. You can use whatever you want. You can just use regular seasoned salt if you want. That's kind of nice because that has garlic in it. Pepper, salt. Look at those chunks of cheese. Honey, you seeing this?
Oh, yeah.
That is nice, isn't it? Whew, it wears out my hand. Let's have some arthritis. Too much sandwich eating. A lot of people don't realize that's what causes their arthritis. All the sandwiches. So just kind of push that down. Now, let's let that cook for 1 minute. Go back over there for just a second. I'm going to show you something else that I do here that I really like. That makes a nice little topping for this. So, you got your regular old mayo. You got your blue plate. You got your Dukes. You got your Hellmann's. You got all that. This is Kewpie. If you can get your hands on Kewpie mayo, do it. And then put the lid in the ball. Because that's the way Kewpie works. This is Japanese Kewpie mayo. If I can get it in Kentucky, you can get it. It has a different flavor, and it's, I shouldn't say the F word, it's delicious. So I got me some Kewpie in there, and I have this really ripe avocado. Because I think the avocado adds a nice little color and some flavor. So you put your Kewpie in there. Now that needs to be a ripe avocado. It's going to be hard to do with one that's not ripe. But I'm making this avocado mayo. This is going to be outstanding. So I mash that up in there. I'm going to hit that with a little bit of my seasoning. That way we got a nice little hopper. Can you see that?
Oh, yeah.
So that's just avocado and Kewpie mayo. So I'll show you how I build this out. So I go over here and I get one of my buns. Now, let me turn this over, and a lot of this liquid's cooking out of the meat, but it's kind of being absorbed by the cheese. So we're going to come over here and get this nice and browned up. It's almost ready. Just about. You don't have to over cook this. You just want to cook that pink out of it. Get that nice like that. Now I went from spoon to fork to spoon. So I'll take some of this avocado mayo. The Kewpie avocado. Oh my God, that's good. So slather up both sides of that. Because why are you making a topping if you're not going to use it? Now, bring her back over here for just a second, baby. So you notice how this is all coming together. I need to cook off just a little bit of this liquid. And then, once it's done, see that cheese melted into there? Whoo boy. Now I'm going to try just a little bit of this sauce in this. I need a little bit more seasoning. Now you all know me and Honey Baby, we don't over-season much. If anything, we probably under-season because our food's usually tasty enough without a bunch of seasoning. But I did add a little bit more there. All that cheese is melted in. And this liquid will continue to cook off because that's the liquid out of the steak. But I don't care because they're not going to matter. So then I'm going to get me another piece of cheese here. Get it open. Should open that up. Good. So, the way we finish these up, we take us a little more cheese here. Got a couple pieces left behind my thing. Let that cook off just a second. We don't want it quite that moist. I was going to say wet, moist, whatever. So we've cooked out all of our stuff. Our onions and our veggies are good and cooked. We got this on pretty high heat. You can see how fast it's cooking. Our cheese is now incorporated into it, and it's not just on the top. So I'm going to pull me some over here to the side, which should fit nicely on this, and then I'm going to slap a couple of pieces of cheese on the top of it. I'll give this just a second. Let me see here. This is probably going to require 2 spatulas. So I'll let that cook down till that cheese melts down on top of that. The rest of it's kind of going over here doing its thing. We've got the cheese on the inside. We've got the cheese on the outside. We've got our avocado Kewpie. See how that cheese is already starting to cook along the edges there? Now, this can be the challenging part. Where are we at on time?
12 minutes, 47 seconds.
Dang, I said 7. Dang. I messed up by a freaking mile. All right. So we're going to come in here. We got her separated out. We come in here with our spatulas. We lose about 2/3 of it. We drop that onto our plate. We come back for the rest. And that is our chopped cheese cheesesteak with avocado Kewpie mayo. Dang. I'd take a bite of this. It's going to be I'll do it. It's going to be 1,000,000 degrees. But I always got to prove that we eat what we cook. Oh my God. That's so good. There you have it. Chopped cheese cheesesteak. God, that's good.